So this is rebuilding Main Street, and here's how it all started. I didn't, I thought it was okay, but obviously there's no roof on one, and there's some areas that are not done. So this is how it looked from the back. I want you to take note of the movie theater being a flat roof, which of course is wrong, and we'll talk about that as we get into this. So here are the different kinds of buildings. The first one is a cornerstone. This one is a scratch-built building. The Coloma, Michigan had some kind of festival, and the hobby shop that was there decided he would enter a display and ask me if I'd build a theater for down the Main Street. And the next one, somebody can tell me that's a plaster building, and I don't remember who built it, who made it. But I don't know. It doesn't seem to fit there, so it's going to be gone. And the next is maybe somebody remembers the MR article where they built a ice cream shop out of a medicine pill bottle. And Tom Satis built this one, and I was able to buy it from him. And you want to look back here at the background because that's going to get a big change coming up. So when you look at it that way, you see that this is, the red paper that they use on the floor when they're doing building of houses.
Yeah, craft paper, they call it.
And it's tough as it can be. Now, when you forget to put up a backdrop when you build the layout because you're thinking you never would need it, and then all of a sudden you decide you want something like that, that's what I put up on the wall. So that's how it all started back there. And I just painted the trees on, which are not good, but they're there. And I'm a big guy for putting in overhead wire, but I like to put it on the backside because it gets tangled up in whenever you have a derailment or anything. And I had some of these wigwag signals that were, I bought them from the guy who does the Sioux Line stuff, got them down in Collinsville. And I put on some blossoms on top of the, naturally I also have a misspelled word there, don't I? All right, so the background, I decided I would change that. So I found a picture in the internet, and I thought it looked pretty good back there, pasted it on, and now I'm starting to work on the clouds so that they look fair. And I thought I'd throw this in about this is a non-working wigwag, and if there is no a one track, you would not have anything up there at that where number one is, where it says 2 tracks. That would be blank. As this particular model came, it did not have the set number 2 sign on. And the number 3 thing is that the wigwag should be 6 inches above the roadway surface. So that's pretty good information from the Northwestern Historical Society. So I thought, maybe 6 scale feet out might be work. So that's where I decided to put my base in. I built it out of plaster. So there they are, both in, and I've got the wigwag all decaled. And you can see that somebody hit the light pole.
Yeah.
And the other building, the first building still looks about the same as it did when we first started. So I thought maybe I ought to have a little bit more, something a little different. So I added this outside stairway going up to the 2nd floor. Oh, in this area here, we're going to talk about this area in another building. But typically these plastic buildings come, or guess they're made out of plastic. Anyway, they come with just this flat, which I'm not sure, but I would suspect that that's always it's brick. So this was the first try at that building. I did not like the color of the brick. It looked purple, which I didn't like. And so the Gamble store is gone. So here's the rebuild of the front, and there's a roof on there now. And I picked up a sign out of the internet, and I made it the Evergreen Everything Hardware. So the next building was the theater, and as I said, John wanted to make a diorama on Main Street, so he asked me to build that, and I did. Since then, I found out about how to make bowstring roofs, and I knew right away a flat roof would not be correct for a freestanding roof on a building. So I took a look at Google Earth because the building still stands. It's still a theater. It's open for movies. It allowed me to take a look at what that roof should look like. So here's a couple of pictures. You can see the one in the middle, which is that's the name of the theater, the Loma Theater. It definitely is has a rounded roof on the thing. And of course now it has a marquee out here. And this would be the other side of it. Google Earth gives you a lot of good information today. So the way to build these is 1 foot rise for 8 foot long. And since this building was 37.5 foot wide, the rise should be about 4'9". However, when I did that, then the roof was above the front of the building. It just didn't look right at all. So I took and removed it, and it is about half of the 4'9" rise, which still takes care of getting that rounded roof in there. And I could have possibly put in the correct rise, but it would have caused me to cut out the sides more, and those are Holgate and Rental, and that stuff really cuts hard. So here it is with I put a marquee on it. I took that again. I using the Google Earth pictures. Why I came up with that. When I got it in, I decided that the curb looked really bad, and we had a lot of conversations about that curb. But I decided that I needed to change the curb. So we'll see that a little bit later. So I tried a number of ways to try to do it and make it look square and everything. And I finally gave up, and I just put a piece of square plastic in there and cemented it in. I like to use plaster for almost everything. So over here on this other side, that's plaster. But for whatever reason, it didn't break up the way this other one. So I left that as it is. You got to put in your cut marks and so forth. Coloring is always a big problem. If you use acrylic paints, you cannot weather it with alcohol because alcohol and acrylic paints just do not mix. Alcohol is a remover of acrylic paints. Curbs are normally 6 to 8 inches, although I guess you'll find different sizes, but that's what they indicate as a normal size. And by then I've got a hydrant here, which I never had before. So this is the way those two buildings look from the back. Now you can see you definitely can see how the roof looks now compared to what it did before. So I was going to put 2 buildings in there, but I found in fact that I didn't have enough room for 2 buildings. So what am I going to do with this space? So I decided I'd just make it an alley, and I would make it where people just threw their junk. So that's a variety of different uh, grasses and so forth in there, just plain dirt and stuff that I had in my junk box. So now it's time to add the third building. So this is a standard building, plastic building. And I had one of these Dynamodel newspaper stands. And I put in some gas meters. And I put a building sign up here telling when the building was built. On the back side, why over here is the telephone boxes. Over here down to the pedestal. And here is the electric line going back to the pole back there. I put one on this one. Everything's got a gas meter, and this also has a telephone box. This one being underground.
Clouds on the backdrop look really good in that photo.
Here's where I'm changing the inside of that. See, up here at the top, I tried painting it. I didn't like that. So I took a picture of this, and then with the picture, I made this piece of paper and I glued it to the inside. And here it is with the roof on it and tar along the edges. And I think that I'll do that from now on. I think that it gets rid of that blank piece of plastic up there. Easy to do. This particular roof is 400 grit sandpaper, although frankly, I really like what they call Japanese paper, which is the same paper you use to build model airplanes with. I think that is the best roofing material you can get. The roof there was on that building was what was on the original theater. And it was on plastic, and I just cut it down and fit it nice. So here I've put the ice cream shop in and got it all wired up so that we will take a look at what it's going to look like. I guess I got to, hold on. This is supposed to operate.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
It's got a little switch there. If you turn the switch on, it operates, continues to operate. But when you do something like this, you have to do it a short period.
Yeah.
And that's the end.
Very nice. Well, that really looks great now. That like Jim was saying, that one picture from the back is very realistic.
Well, most of us don't I've never put it on before. That's the first time I've ever put that kind of detail on.
Mm-hmm.
It does really make a difference.
It sure does.
And most of the stuff is just pieces of plastic or thread or something like that.
Yeah, the wire.
Yeah. If anybody's got any questions, why?
The pictures of the back kind of remind me of, when I was a kid riding the train. You'd go through an industrial area and all you'd see is the back of the building. So you'd see all that stuff.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, I guess we're a little short on time maybe, but that's about all I have today.
Oh,
Oh, that's great.
you've had so much good stuff on the back of the building that's next to the ice cream stand. But this one on the end down here, you didn't really add much to that, did you, in the back? See,
Now let's go
because it
back.
could also have electrical
You're talking about this building?
Yeah, yeah, it could also have some of
Let's
that,
look at it.
like you have on the back of,
Okay, see on the back of the building there, there's your electrical.
yeah. Oh, you got it there. Okay.
And there's your gas.
Yeah, okay, you got
I'll
it.
tell you what is not on there, and
I
they did
missed
not
it.
put telephone on that building.
Yeah,
So everything comes off this electric pole right here.
uh-huh.
There's a small park here. In the process, I had to rebuild the base of this house about 10 times to get it the way I wanted to. It seems like whenever I start one of these projects, it's never ending. It seems like I tear up more stuff than I intended to, and that becomes a problem.
Looks nice. I was wondering where you got those concrete blocks,
That's
those little bitty concrete blocks.
yeah, that's a molding that somebody made. I think it's made out of metal.
Hmm.
In fact, this is a piece of the same kind of stuff. It's just I don't know who made it, but I just painted it like there was junk in there.
Oh, I see, because that's just one piece with the two blocks
Yeah, this
attached
is
to it.
one whole piece right
Yeah,
here.
one whole piece there. I see it. Yeah.
And here's a
Couple
little
of years, yeah, a couple of years ago, F&C was selling cast resin concrete blocks at one of the RPMs. I don't know if they still do or still have them.
Or you,
When I got-
you
when I
can, you
started-
can get them from mini prints.
When I
Yeah,
started putting this
You
building,
can't see that because it's probably not big enough, but that's a wire with a whole bunch of concrete blocks on it.
the first thing I found is the building wasn't level. So
Hmm.
how in the world am I going to make that thing level? So you see this little area in here?
Yeah.
That's plaster. I raised it up so that it was level, and then I put plaster underneath there because, you know, if I didn't, somebody would say the gap was too big.
That's right.
I think the guy who used to make these window shades, I don't think he's out of business, I think. Dynamodel made these out of, this is all metal. They made a lot of different castings back then. So, okay, I'll turn it off.
Very believable. Very nicely done.
You're gonna add some people to the streets?
I think it needs it, really.
Yeah.
And I have a bunch of people, but what I need now is somebody that'll paint them. Otherwise, I think they're gonna look kind of funny nude.
Yep. All right. Well, let me see here. Next week, we are going to have Bob back on, Bob Wonderock. And he is, I don't know how to pronounce the name of his presentation because it's in a different language. Tod Unverkelrung or something like that, but it means death and transfiguration. And it's a program that he's created on what to do with your layout when you're done with it, or what your errors can do with your layout when you're done with it. And so that'll be interesting. And after that, got this goofy thing.
Hey, Greg,
Yes.
on that subject, what you see behind me
Uh-huh.
is all coming down.
No.
Oh, really? You talking about the
Oh,
whole layout or just the
Everything,
really?
no.
everything.
Why
I'm
is that?
I'm gonna have a big sale. And well, you know, it's a lot of you guys that know me know that my wife had cancer and
Yeah.
she's a little bit past it now. She's had some clean scans, but the reality is, as we approach 72 this year, we know that this will become someone's albatross. And I'd rather bust it up and try to see if some parts of it couldn't help somebody. And I mean, there's a nice reverse loop in there that's all wired with staging tracks that are lit and switched. And it can come out in one piece because that's the way I built it. The helix that you see behind me, anybody that's looking for multi-decks could definitely use that. And and I've got probably 16 locomotives and well over 100 cars.
Mhm.
Lots of stuff still fresh in boxes that I bought over the years to build this railroad. And so I'm going to be selling it all. And I'm not trying to make retail out of it. The prices will be appealing, especially in today's market.
Yeah.
Anyway, probably on our list, I'll circulate. Once I get a flyer put together, I'll circulate it in case anybody's interested. And I'll set it up so that people can use a card to do it, or they can come to my house. I'm thinking about just having a Saturday, where
Uh-huh.
I have everything out in the garage and set it up on tables and have people come in. But I'm actually going to start building modules in O-scale 2 rail.
Oh, really?
So
All right. Well, congratulations, I guess.
well, it's too bad, but you do what you got to do in life, and
That's right.
we need to be nimble at this point in our life in case the right opportunity comes along. We can move quickly
Sure.
out of our house. And
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we all think about that from time to time. So,
well, I'm living it earlier than my expiration date. So
well, good luck with it.
Certainly glad to hear that your wife is past the cancer.
Yeah, definitely.
Boy,
she had a rough 2 years, but she's had 3 clean scans now, and coming up on another one in September. So
Good.
4 clean scans. They say it's a cure. So
Excellent, excellent.
I'd hate to say it, but I think most layouts end up in the dumpster.
Yeah.
yeah, no, I know that. I know that. The weird thing is as I was buying stuff, Mary had given me, I'll say, chunks of money to do this, and out of our household budget. And so I've got like a whole box of Pico switches that are brand new. I've got probably 8 boxes of Midwest cork. I mean, I've got enough to start a dang hobby shop.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of cork, nobody's apparently able to get it right now. Walters has introduced this kind of extruded foam substitute, but I think you might be selling this stuff at just the right time.
yeah.
yeah, well, I won't be. I'm not going to ask for exorbitant prices. I try to get decent prices for it, but everything's new. I mean, the guys that know me know that all I've really done is done some testing with this stuff. Everything else is like brand new in the box, in the original box. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Pico turnouts are what? Almost $40 a pop these days?
Yeah, I'm probably going to be selling these for 25.
Yeah.
Maybe even 20. I don't know.
Um,
I don't know if it's worth it to try to harvest the ones off the layout or not.
I think it is.
yeah,
Switches
I
become so
would
expensive.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, switches are so expensive these days. I
Well, they're all soldered, you know, but you know, I used to work for the Heath Company, so I'm pretty good at soldering. I can probably unsolder them and maybe
Yeah.
find these. And they'll already have feeders on them, so,
Yeah.
but I just wish some of it could go somewhere, you know, because,
Right.
you know,
Yep.
A friend, I was gonna say, a friend of mine and I had this discussion earlier this week about where does it go when we're no longer here, and I told him that's one of the reasons why I'm building modules.
Mhm.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna do with the O-scale stuff. I'm gonna
Yeah.
build it probably in 8-foot modules, because I can negotiate those out of my stairwell easily.
Right.
I had a very good friend of mine in Mont Eagle, Tennessee, had an unattached two-car garage-sized building with an HON3 layout, and he came down with some serious medical issues. Decided he was never going to finish it. Gave me all the buildings and scenery materials and his DCC stuff. Sold all the Blackstone locomotives and cars to a friend of mine who does Rio Grande narrow gauge. I donated all that stuff to the club that I'm in, and it also kind of made up my mind that I was not going to build a layout at my house. My layout is the Dixie Model Railroad Club in Nashville. So I don't have to worry about building a layout. There's already a layout there. The executor of my estate, all he has to worry about is selling all the locomotives and cars and the rest of my house.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, so nobody wants the train set in the basement, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, there was a house here in the Bridgman area that sold, and the guy wanted the train set in the basement.
Oh,
But that's pretty rare.
happy accident. Yeah,
The,
'cause-
the guy was a Chicago lawyer, and he called me up. He says, "You know, I don't know how to get this started." Ray had DCC, not just, you know, and I think the guy thought all he had to do is turn on the power and away it would go. And I went down there and showed him how to work it, but you know, he never called me back again. I got a feeling that it's probably ended up in the dumpster.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, thank you, Ron, for presenting tonight. That was interesting. And like I say, next week will be Bob Wondrock. And after that, I think we're open. So if you want to present, let me know. On the 29th, that's actually our 5-year anniversary. So if you have any ideas about what we might do that night, let me know. That's only 3 or 4 weeks away. So 4 weeks, I guess. But yeah, that'll be fun.
Don't do
So-
anything too wonderful, because I'll be gone. I think that's the Chicago Northwestern Historical Society.
Oh, is it?
That's the
Me-
night before it starts.
Oh,
Yeah, but
okay.
I'm
Yeah.
traveling to get
Yeah.
there first
I'll
thing
see you there.
All right. Well, thanks again, Ron. Everybody have a great Thursday, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Good night,
night.
gentlemen.
Bye.